Hello, good afternoon. Shalom and blessings to everyone. Um, it is afternoon. I'm very late. It is 1:50 in the afternoon, and of course, I should be getting ready to go to sleep. But that didn't happen. So, sorry. This is what you get. Um, my eyes are red. I'm very tired, so please forgive me. I tried. I really did. Um, so please forgive me if I do go a little quickly. I'm going to try to do this like regular, like I should. I'm praying that I do. Sometimes when I'm tired, I tend to go fast and not really realize it. So if I do, I'm sorry. Um, and I know I'm a day late. I can't explain what happened yesterday, but today's a new day. Um, so let's go ahead and say prayer and get started. Okay. Um, Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for this beautiful, wonderful day. And I thank you for giving hope in a gloomy day. Today, my night at work was not very bad. It was actually nice. But personal things, personal issues hit me pretty hard at work last night. So, please, Father, you know what they are, you know what's going on. And I know that soon everything will be situated and fixed and renewed. And I thank you for it, Father. And Father, you know I'm tired and I really need to lay down and sleep right now. But Father, I know I need to do this. I need to do this teaching for you and for me and for all those who are just like me, trying to reach out and step out and actually be something in you, Father. And Father, this lesson 18, bless this lesson, Father. Bless it and open up your truth within it, Father, and let us know what you want us to know. Help us be led by you and not some person. There's a lot of truth in this book that you have shared with others, and I believe in that truth. Help us know your truth and your ways, Father. And I thank you in your blessed name. Okay, law enforcement. Lesson 18. And okay, and I forgot my glasses. So this is gonna be kind of rough. Okay. We exercise authority when we take our responsibility and to do what Yahuwah has told us to do. However, this does not mean you can just command anything we want. All authority can do is enforce the law. In the natural realm, we call a policeman law enforcement officers. They only have authority to enforce what is already established as the law. Police officers do not make up the law, or they're not supposed to. The law is already written, and they're only supposed to uphold it and help us uphold it also. They are not absolute dictators who can do whatever they want. They're limited. They're supposed to be, but we know nowadays it's a little different. But they're supposed to be limited. They're not supposed to do just anything they want. Being law enforcement officers, they're supposed to uphold the law themselves and make sure others uphold it also. And they can do is enforce laws that are already in effect. It's the same in the spiritual realm. Every born again believer has this supernatural Yahuwah given power. However, there are spiritual laws governing how it works. Like a police officer, all we can do is enforce the law that has already been in effect. We cannot use Yahuwah's power in a selfish way, because there is not any laws where Yahuwah promises to give us what we are lusting for. Instead, we need to learn what the laws of Yahuwah's kingdom are, and then recognize that our authority is simply enforcing these laws. In the natural realm, some people try to violate the laws of the land. This is why there's a need for law enforcement officers, people to go out and enforce those laws. In the spiritual realm, there are demons who are constantly trying to oppose us, inflict their evil upon us, and prevent us from experiencing the fullness of Yahuwah's provision. We must enforce the spiritual laws of Yahuwah's kingdom that have been given to us. Most people don't see the kingdom of Yahuwah as operating under law. Instead, they see it as being directly under Emmanuel. And Yahuwah often changes his moods. Let me repeat that. Most people don't see the kingdom of Yahuwah operating under law. Instead, they see it as being directly underneath the Messiah. People think that once we come into the Messiah, it erases things. And that they change their moods, that Yahuwah changes his mind often, and the Messiah, well, I gave my life here, but, I told you this, but I take it back, That don't happen. The people say things like, you never know what Yahuwah is going to do. You can't put Yahuwah in a box. Yahuwah is definitely bigger than and outside of the little box you have tried to contain him in. But he has also established spiritual laws, even he will not break. Okay? Yahuwah has also established spiritual laws that even he will not break. We have to remember Yahuwah is a spirit. There is a spirit realm. His law is spirit. Many people don't realize, this. They see the hard things and, the flesh, and they just assume that it's all about the flesh. Let's see. Okay, I'm tired, so I lost my spot. I'm sorry. Let's see. Yahuwah is definitely bigger than, and he is outside of any box. No matter what size box it is, he is bigger than a box that you try to put him in. He is so much bigger. You can't control it. You can't. Thou hast magnified thy word above all thy name. Psalms 138:2. We know the scriptures talk very highly about his name and knowing his true name. And all power is in his name. All right, here it says his word. The words he speaks that come out of his mouth, the word is more important than his name. How great is that? Although many scriptures reveal the power of the name of Emmanuel, Yahuwah has magnified his word even above his name. A person's name is no better than their word. If they don't keep their word, their name is not accounted for anything. However, the name of Emmanuel is powerful because he never breaks his word. When Yahuwah says something, it becomes a legal binding contract. Now we know that Yahuwah speaks through Emmanuel. So the whole time that the Messiah was on earth, he was speaking forth the words of his Father, our Father, Yahuwah. My covenant will I not break, nor alter the things that has gone out of my lips. Psalms 89:34. When Yahuwah and Emmanuel speak something out of their mouths, their word is a covenant. And I say they because Yahuwah is the Father, the Creator. Emmanuel, he is the Son. He lived with the Father billions and billions and billions of years. He has lived together. So he knows exactly how Yahuwah thinks. He knows what he says. He knows everything. Just like when we live with our parents, we usually could tell what our parents are thinking by the looks that they give. When they give that stern look, we know you're in trouble. You can tell certain things. So I'm going to say Yahuwah and Emmanuel, because what Emmanuel speaks is from the Father. And when he speaks something, it is truth. It is truth. And it is like a covenant. It's a contract. He will not break his word. Every time he speaks, it's like a promise. Emmanuel upholds all things by his power. Hebrews 1:3. In other words, our entire universe is held together by the integrity and power of Yahuwah's word. If he were to ever to break a promise or otherwise violate his word, this whole world, the universe, and you and I would all self-destruct. It is Yahuwah's integrity that holds everything together. Oh, sorry. So when Yahuwah speaks something out of his mouth, it becomes a contract, a law. Once he said it, he will not change it. In order to effectively use your authority, you must know what his laws are, his spiritual laws. When a new police officer is hired, they immediately study what the laws are that they are to enforce. Their police chief does not say, "Oh, just go out there without knowing anything and see if it works. Maybe the people will submit." No, that is not their attitude at all. The police officer is thoroughly grilled in what the ordinances and statutes what the statutes are, what is permissible and what is not. They go through schooling, intense schooling, to know the laws. They know it. This is all so and so and so and so. They have to learn all the laws. And they have to learn what they can do and what they can't do to enforce them. And law enforcement has to know the law because they cannot go beyond it. They cannot just do things on their own. A police officer does have authority, but that authority ends at the end of the law. If there is not a law prescribing what they're trying to enforce, then they cannot do it. It's the same in the spiritual realm. You cannot just pick and choose according to your own selfish whims or your lusts. You must know what the laws are that govern the kingdom of Yahuwah and then abide in them. If you try to enforce something outside of those laws, it will not work. You cannot just use your Yahuwah given authority to do your own thing. Romans 3 speaks of the law of faith. Where is boasting then? Is it excluded? By what law? Of works? Nay, but by the law of faith. Romans 3:27. Faith has a law. Faith is a law. Faith has a law. There is a law of faith. He's sitting like this. My whole leg is asleep. Let's see. In the physical realm, there are natural laws. Among many others, there is a law of gravity and a law of thrust and lift. A law is something that's both constant and universal. If gravity operated in the United States, but not in some other country, then it would be a phenomenon, not a law. A law means that it is consistent for everybody on the planet. It's the same for everyone, and it's always that way. Gravity, I don't know, I'm thinking. Gravity does not just spike every once in a while. However, occasionally you will see things that might make you think of that. A few years ago, a plane was landing in Colorado Springs. As it was making a turn to come into land, all of a sudden it accelerated and just dove to the ground. It made a crater, and the largest piece of the plane they could find was 2 foot square. Wow. It just exploded and everybody was killed. The investigators did 3 or 4 years worth of research but never found a pilot error or mechanical reason for the crash. However, neither did they say, well, gravity just increased 10 times and all of a sudden made that plane crash like that. No, they did not even consider that a possibility because gravity is law. It is consistent. They did not say, well, the law of thrust and lift just ceased to operate. No, it's a law. It always operates that way. If you are ever going to have an efficient, effective, powerful relationship with Yahuwah, you must break out of the mindset that Yahuwah is inconsistent. You must get out of the thinking that says sometimes Yahuwah wills to do this and sometimes he wills to do that. You never know what kind of mood Yahuwah is in. He might heal this one, but not this other. He may want them to suffer that way for the rest of their life. But that's not how Yahuwah is. It is not the way his kingdom operates. Yahuwah is the one who created the heaven and the earth. It is so orderly and systematically that you can find out exactly where Mars, Jupiter, and all the other planets were 5 years or even 5,000 years ago. Everything is like clockwork, perfect and consistent. You can accurately project when an eclipse will occur because it is so predictable. I'm amazed how people think that Yahuwah, who created such an order in the universe, would do things so sporadically and haphazardly in our lives. Order did not come from chaos. Yahuwah himself is orderly. He creates laws, both natural and spiritual. Natural and spiritual. Yahuwah himself is constant and predictable because he operates by his own spiritual laws. He does not make up laws how he seems fit. He don't make up laws as he goes along. He just does what he already said. You need to find out what his spiritual laws are. Then, once you do, take your authority as a believer and enforce them. Oops. If you are ignorant of Yahuwah's word, then you won't be very effective in exercising your authority because Satan will just talk you out of it. Excuse me. Back in the days when people just traveled across the Atlantic by ship, a man scraped everything he had together to buy a ticket to the United States. All he had left, excuse me, was a tiny little bit of money with which he bought some crackers and cheese. For the entire month-long voyage across the Atlantic, all he had to eat were crackers and cheese. He watched as all the other passengers feasted sumptuously on the daily bounty of food and drink in the dining room. However, he did not have any money for food, so he just ate a little bit of his crackers and cheese. Toward the end of the voyage, one of the porters came up to this man and asked, "Sir, I notice that you have never joined us in the dining room. Was there something we've done that offended you? Why didn't you come eat with us on this voyage?" The man answered, "Oh no, I'm not offended at all. I would have loved to have eaten with you. The food looked so good, but I just didn't have any money left. All I had was enough to buy some crackers and cheese." Dumbfounded, the porter looked at this man and said, "But didn't you realize that the meals came with the ticket? They were included in the price you paid." This man was ignorant of what was rightfully his, and because of it, he did without. However, the truth was that he could have daily dined sumptuously on anything he wanted of the feasts that were prepared throughout the entire on the entire trip. So many Christians are the same way. They are ignorant of the bountiful life Yahuwah has given us. Therefore, they live without enjoying many of the salvation benefits that the Messiah died on the cross to provide. Because they are unaware of what the Word says, Satan has convinced them you are not really going to prosper. You'll have barely just enough to get by. Are you aware of what the Word promises you concerning prosperity? Deuteronomy 28 says that Yahuwah has commanded his blessings upon all the work of our hands. Psalms 35:27 reveals that Yahuwah delights in the prosperity of his servants. If you don't know these spiritual laws, you will not enforce them. You will not demand Satan to quit stealing from you and to lose of your Yahuwah given provision. You will not experience what's rightfully yours in Messiah. In order for you to use your authority and experience Yahuwah's blessings, you need to know what the spiritual laws are and what has been provided for you. Just yesterday, a mutual friend coursed me to pray for a certain woman with arthritis. I tried to get her. Sorry about that. Let's see. I tried to get her to a place of faith by telling her about all the different people I had personally seen healed of arthritis, and that arthritis was no problem for Yahuwah. She just looked at me and said, "Well, I believe that Yahuwah can heal, but I don't believe that you can heal. Of course, it is Yahuwah's power, not mine, but he has given me the authority to use it." Not understanding this, she was immediately put off and began resisting how I was trying to minister to her. Then she stated, it all depends upon whether or not Yahuwah will, it is Yahuwah's will to heal. She believed Yahuwah could do it, but she did not believe that healing is a law, something that he has already done. Through the death, burial, and resurrection of our Messiah, Emmanuel, Yahuwah has already healed every person that will ever be healed. By the stripes Emmanuel took across his back 2,000 years ago, we were, past tense, we were healed. 1 Peter 2:24. Emmanuel is not healing people right now. He did this part a long time ago. The law was passed, and now healing belongs to us. However, it is up to us as believers to know what Yahuwah's will is and command it to come to pass. This is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, whatsoever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we have desired of him. 1 John 5:14 through 15. This is the confidence we have if we ask anything according to his will. We know that he hears us. And if we know that he hears us, then we know we have these petitions. The whole thing hinges on what is Yahuwah's will. Some people say, well, you never know what Yahuwah's will is. That kind of thought undermines this whole principle. If you think that Yahuwah just sometimes wills for a person to be saved, healed, or prospered, and sometimes he doesn't, then you do not know what Yahuwah's will is. If you think Yahuwah is totally unpredictable, then you will never use your authority effectively. Because you are not sure what the laws are. You're not positive. A police officer cannot effectively enforce the law if they think that sometimes it's okay to speed and other times it is not. Is it okay to rob a bank sometimes and other times not? Is it permissible to murder occasionally? No, that is not how the way the law works. The law is not sometimes in effect and other times not. The law is constant. It's the same all the time for everybody. In the natural realm, we say nobody is above the law. That means politicians, police officer, whoever it is, will be held accountable if they break the law. It does not always work out that way, but that's the philosophy we desire to live by. It's the same in the spiritual realm. There are no exceptions. There are not some people that the word works for and others that it doesn't. It's not that Yahuwah just likes some people and causes his power to work for them, but others he does not. That's not it at all. Yahuwah has established laws, and we need to learn how to operate with them. We can be confident that we will receive anything we ask according to his will. 1 John 5:14 through 15. How can we know Yahuwah's will? Yahuwah's word reveals his will. Beloved, I wish, will, want, desire. Above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospers. 3 John 3, or 2. Yahuwah's wish, will, and desire is that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. This is the law of Yahuwah. He wants you to prosper and be healthy. Yahuwah wants you to be a world overcomer. 1 John 5:5. John 10:10 reveals both Yahuwah's will and Satan's will very carefully. The thief comes not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Yahuwah comes to give you life more abundantly. If something is life and good, it is Yahuwah. But if something is bad, stealing, killing, and destroying, it is the devil. Although this is a bit simplistic, it's true. Good Yahuwah, bad devil. Good things come from Yahuwah, bad things come from the devil. James 1:17 is plain about that. It's clear as day. Yahuwah has ordered laws for your good so you can access the abundant life He has provided for you. However, you must learn what these laws are so you could cooperate with them and demand Satan to quit stealing, killing, and destroying the blessings that are rightfully yours, ours. In the natural realm, if someone stole something of yours, you would have the right to press charges. You could demand for that person to be picked up by the police and persecuted. And if found guilty, some kind of punishment or prison, retribution, or reimbursement could be assessed. However, it all depends upon the person who was wronged exercising their rights, pressing charges. In a sense, you have to take your authority and say, I'm going to receive what is rightfully mine. It's the same in the spiritual realm. Just like every other believer, you have your Yahuwah given rights and privileges. He has established His will for you. But it is up to you, it is up to us to claim what Yahuwah has done for us. We must press the issue. We have to take our authority and enforce those spiritual laws that have been made for our belief, our benefit. Ignorance to the spiritual laws will keep us from pressing charges. It will prevent you from keeping Satan out of the picture.